2, 1. Lance Calvert, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We've been friends for a long time, you and I, huh?
Probably more than half of your life.
Wow, I'm a young dude. I'm so young. You're really old.
Yeah, I got you by a few years.
You're 30?
30. Yeah, turned 30 in May. So.
Oh my goodness.
What? You're only...
I'm 28.
You're not that far behind me then.
I'm a young buck. I'm
always
spry.
thought you were like 5 years behind me for
Really?
some reason. Yeah, I don't know why.
Man, it's got to be this great skin God's gifted me with.
Yeah.
What's it being like? What's it feel like being in your 30s?
No different.
Really?
I feel like I've been 30 for like 10 years, to be honest with you.
Well, you got married young.
Yeah. So I got married when I was 20. So we just had our 10-year vow renewal that you were participated in, and grew up real quick, being in the Marine Corps and everything. So I don't really have many friends that are younger. All my owning businesses and being involved in the community, I'm the young buck of the group. So I never really think about my age, I guess, that much.
Sure.
So it just doesn't feel like anything. Being 30 is no different than what it's been like the past 10 years.
I never asked you this. What made you want to be a Marine? Because that's a pretty big commitment.
Soup's dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yep, good old Steve.
So what happened? Did he say something, or did he just...
No,
the way he lived his life?
Just the way he lived his life. The military wasn't on my radar till probably I was 17, 18. I wasn't going anywhere fast and knew if I didn't do something drastically to turn my life around, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today, and I wasn't on a good path, to say the least. So I give Steve a lot of credit. I don't know if he really knows that, but that's the specific reason why the Marine Corps over any other branch.
Sure. No regrets going to the Marines then?
No, I hated it. Literally about 90% of the time, but I would do it 10 lives over.
Right. So you've been out of the Marines for how long now then?
6 years now. Yeah.
What has carried into civilian life that you feel like the Marines either taught you or you learned that you feel like is still a part of who you are today?
The Marine Corps really, I guess, molded me, I guess, as corny as that sounds, but that's everything that I do today. My work ethic, my discipline, everything I give to the Marine Corps, just how it shaped me and really made me grow up, see life differently, have a different perspective on life.
So that's what's so interesting about you, Lance, is so you can be the world's biggest goofball in the best possible way, but you have an incredible amount of discipline. You didn't have that as a child, you think?
No, not at all. If you could, Dorothy, my wife, has been around before I was in, obviously, until now, and she could tell you that, from when I went to boot camp to when I got back, it was just a completely different person. Asked my parents, I was a handful, to say the least. I don't know. I just didn't have any goals, I guess, in life beforehand. It just kind of flew by the seat of my pants.
Sure.
Just, not much to go off of. Just didn't know where I was heading in life.
Yeah. Well, knowing you now, that's your mind is in a completely different place, I believe.
Yeah.
So and I see that really specifically in business for you. Tell people what exactly it is you do or what you own, I guess would be the best way to put it.
What like the current, like Brandon and Butler, or just go down the list?
How about this? Let's talk about the businesses that you've started.
Okay.
And then how you feel like those have led to what you're doing now. So yeah, let's start from you and your wife's first business.
Okay. So from the beginning. So back to the Marine Corps and how much I disliked it. I think it was the structure of it that I disliked. Someone telling me what to do, when to do it, when to wake up, when to eat. The whole aspect of it I just disliked, and I knew very early on in the 5 years that I was in that I did not want to work for somebody for the rest of my life. So I kind of set myself up while I was in. And when I got out, I still had a job. I worked at the prison for three-ish years, but I had to set myself up financially to be able to go out on my own and be my own boss and everything. So we got back 2014. Shortly after that, and it was I had a vision, I had a plan when I got out of what my first 5 years was going to look like, and it kind of panned out. In October of 2014, we bought our first rental. So that helped us out financially, create some kind of supplemental income for us.
Sure.
So we did that in October. I started working at the prison right around then, October, November of 2014. And then I believe it was about March 2015 timeframe that we started looking for a building for what is now Brushes and Barstools, which is a paint and sip studio. People come, they drink wine, and they learn how to paint. That was me pushing Dorothy on something that she had a passion for.
And she had the creativity.
Yeah. And great personality and teaching ability and everything else. I never did anything with the painting. Wasn't able
That's
to.
That's too bad, Lance.
Yeah.
That is too bad.
Probably would have been fun to watch, you know. Probably wouldn't have turned out great.
I would have paid to go and sip wine and just watch you paint, actually.
But yeah, I kind of had to push her. Like she I don't want to say she doesn't have that entrepreneurial like mindset or like spirit, but like she does. I just had to kind of like pull it out of her.
You know what's so interesting? Knowing her now, I would have never thought that. I would have thought that from a very young age, she always had that gene or whatever it is, that personality trait to just kind of like go for it. Let's start it. Let's open this up, whatever it might be. But you're saying you kind of had to. Oh, don't time me here, man. We still need you for another 30 minutes here. But so you feel like you kind of had to bring that out a little bit.
She, like you said, you would think that she's always had that in her, which totally. I think she has always had it in her. I just kind of brought it out of her. I think it was just the fear of the unknown for her, like
sure,
not having actual jobs, a 9 to 5, a steady income was scary for her.
At that point, were you guys parents yet?
Yeah, we had Willow when we were stationed in Washington. So okay. Willow was, what did I say, 2015? She was 3 at the time.
Okay. So even adding a child on top of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a jump. It's a leap of faith. You don't know what's going to happen, especially your first business in a city that's rebuilding. Maybe we were ahead of it. We kind of were ahead of the curve. When we opened up our business, there was 12 other businesses that opened up in the same year. And
really?
Just in downtown Butler.
Wow. Do you know how many of those are still in business?
All of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So we were at our location. We just moved out with the whole COVID and uncertainty of that. Business and financially didn't make sense to hold a lease over the course of the next 6 to 12, 18 months. So we're still operating Brushes and Barstools. Dorothy's just traveling. She's gone to people's houses. We've got stuff set up at campgrounds. We do take and make kits, everything like that.
You guys just got creative.
Yeah, it's just adapt and overcome. And that's what I think if you look at this climate right now, business climate of the COVID, you're going to see a lot of businesses close.
Yeah.
A lot of small businesses that aren't going to make it out on the other side, and the ones that make it out on the other sides are the ones that can adapt and get creative and change to work within the dynamics that either the government gives us or just what the virus decides to do next.
So that's a great point. I've talked to a few people about what you just said. There are so many businesses, some that have been in business for decades, that are not changing or doing anything right now. And eventually, the writing's on the wall for a lot of these people. Like, they're just going to lose their business. why are some of these business owners, and it doesn't make them bad people, but why do they refuse to mold or change with the necessary change that's needed? Like you guys, like you said, you had your storefront and things happened, so you say, okay, we're going to take this on the road and be more of a traveling thing. We don't have to worry about face masks or limit the number of people. We're just going to kind of bring this product to you. You've changed that way. Why are some businesses unable or unwilling to do that, in your opinion?
I think when you see that, it's a generational gap,
sure,
or generational businesses where they aren't the ones that started the business, so they don't have as much. I don't want to say that they're not as passionate as their father or their grandfather that started it, but that's just the case. It was something that they were given. They didn't have to build it from scratch. They didn't know the struggles. They knew the good times, not the bad times. And they're just unwilling to change. It's like people that still run newspaper ads for their business. Financially and on a marketing standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. There's no, the ROI there. It doesn't make sense. With social media nowadays and different kind of marketing outlets, it's just the inability to learn and adapt.
Would you say that's what brought Brushes and Barstools, rather? That's what kind of, because it was a very successful business from a consumer's perspective.
Yeah,
social media marketing in a right way was huge for you guys.
Yeah, and even like non-paying marketing, like just making a presence on the platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram. And there's new ones out that I need to get a hold of. Like
these kids, man, it's crazy.
It's like me on Facebook. It's like paper ads to the businesses 5 years ahead of me.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Like TikTok.
Yep.
I've been watching it just to kind of gain a perspective on how can I leverage that platform for my business. So it's always a learning curve and keeping up with the trends and everything else. And for some businesses, I think it might just be a cop out, a way to get out. There's businesses that I think that have been wanting to shut down for a while, at least in the local community.
Sure, it might be sucking their family dry for years.
And they're just like, this is a clean, easy way to get out. This, we had, and no one's going to fault them for it.
Sure.
Either way, I'd rather see someone just say, hey, we're closing our doors. Hey, does someone want to buy us out?
Right.
Something along those lines. But I'm no economic genius, but I don't think it takes one to know that the world's going to look a lot different here even this time next year.
I completely agree. So you guys go from Brushes and Barstools, now still providing that service, but in a different way. You, in the meantime, opened up. What was this? Your next business then? Your current business of Brandon and Butler?
Yeah. It's all mixed kind of in as one. So I've been reselling, a reseller on eBay, Facebook Marketplace. Any way to sell something to make $1 I've been doing since I was in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Me and my buddy Anthony would go to, there's a thrift shop on base that you could go and buy old people's, older pieces of uniform. People would be getting out, outgrow it, whatever. And we'd go down there and be buying camis for $1, $2, buying dress blues for $5 and selling them on eBay for $30, $40, $50. And it was a gold mine because you're on base. There's people getting out all the time, retiring. And that's how I really got started in it. And started doing Amazon when I got out and I got back and did that for a while.
What do you mean? So selling on Amazon?
Selling on Amazon. So I guess like since I'm in the community, it's kind of like knowledge that most of the stuff on Amazon is not sold through Amazon. It's sold through third-party sellers like myself. So half the products you see on Amazon, they get sent to their warehouses, but really it's other people providing those goods
Sure. So
to sell.
So again, Amazon is not making those goods, but even as far as to say like Amazon is more of just kind of the middleman for everything.
It's a great business model. They're literally just housing the products until it sells. So they're in charge of the shipping in the warehouse space, but they have no overhead as in physical merchandise. They put that on the third-party sellers, and then they take a fee on top of that of whatever sells. So everything to them is pure profit.
You know what's so interesting with that? I would say, so obviously that being true, so much of our country, they might not, if they think about it, they know that Amazon does not make these products, but these products, everything's just from Amazon. And obviously some other company has made this, has, drawn it up, has the equipment to build it. Amazon is just selling the consumer that product. But they have so many people almost fooled into believing that this was all Amazon from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And Amazon has provided this for me.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't get it from Amazon, it's like I don't know. People, that's all they buy from. Like they won't go buy the same product from Walmart.
That's right. Yeah.
They'll wait the 2 days to get it.
Sure.
The day, whatever it is now.
Sure.
To get something.
Or even if you're buying something online, it's almost weird to purchase it from just a website.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Like I'm sure there's even some psychological thing in there too, where it's like, this is just a website that sells this product. How can I trust them?
Yeah.
Even though they're the one who, like, from the ground floor up, have built the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you'll see a lot of those companies sell their product on Amazon as well, because Amazon just has the following and the platform to do so.
Where did you find more success early on Amazon or on eBay?
eBay is a lot easier to navigate. Amazon is more for people that want to do it in scale. So your profit, like you would be the guy on Black Friday going and buying up all the toys, making all the moms mad because their kids want it, and you're the one charging double for it on Amazon.
Sure, the next day.
But you're only profiting, $10, $15 on each unit. So you need to get 100 of those
all
units.
Those units, right.
And yeah, so Amazon definitely has more scalability, because you're not on eBay, you're physically listing one of one. Very rarely are you listing, mass quantities of one thing. So eBay is a lot more time consuming. Amazon's a lot easier to scale.
Sure. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and then kind of outgrew my house with space,
which is cool.
Yeah. So.
So wait, you were keeping your product just in your home?
It was just in my house.
Was Dorothy pretty pumped about that?
No,
I'm sure.
Because it went from in my house, outgrew that, moved it down to the back of the studio, and that,
which she needed her space for for art supplies.
So that and that became just inconvenient, going down there to grab stuff to ship every morning, and then me and my brother-in-law Brendan, now business partner, found a warehouse out in Fenelton, and we were out there for maybe 2 or 3 days, and we were like, why? We're both doing the same thing. Why don't we just sell all our stuff we have now, start from scratch, and do it together? So we each put in $500 into an account, and started off by buying pallets, going to the flea market, going out to Rogers, Ohio, going there on the 4th of July and making just money over fist, like $3-4 grand in a day, just off Walmart return pallets.
Wow.
And that's kind of how it all started. We took $1,000 and grew it into a business that we have, a physical brick and mortar store now.
What led you to do specifically vintage, from what I can tell, high-end vintage clothing?
I definitely, the nostalgia of it caught my attention. I know from Brendan's perspective of what caught his attention was the money.
Sure.
So when we were doing flea markets, he found a box of Harley shirts under a table. Lady sold them from $0.25 a piece, $1 a piece. So he got 10 shirts, 13 shirts for $10, $13. And started looking up what they were worth. and these Harley shirts are going for $200, $300, $400 a piece, and we're like, what have we been missing out on this whole time? So we start. It's just like anything else in reselling, doing your research and just broadening your knowledge base. And we really started to get into it, and had the warehouse for a while, and we were selling all different kinds of things. And one day we were driving to the casino, and
to go donate some money to the greater Pennsylvania area.
Yeah, to our elderly folks of the state.
Benefiting older Pennsylvanians every day. That's right.
And we weren't happy with the warehouse space that we had. We outgrew it. Like, we were there for 6-8 months, and if we have a space, we fill it. We got a storage container. We filled that in less than a week. So we're like, we need to do something else. And we're like, well, why don't we open like a physical store? And it started out with a concept of like almost like a thrift store. So like anything we had in the warehouse, we'd sell. So knickknacks, toys, vintage clothing, anything we could find. And we were like, no, we don't really, that's like not our thing. Like, we like vintage, we like designer, we like higher end stuff. Like, that's what we want to be known for. So that's how we got niched down into the vintage community and the designer community, and started doing. We knew nothing about shoes 8-9 months ago when we started, and we started getting into shoes because that's what we saw our clientele liked, and started to gain an appreciation for shoes as well. But yeah, that's in a nutshell how we got Brandon and Butler started. It's just reselling to us on a higher level,
sure.
on a brick and mortar scale. Some people think that brick and mortar is dead, but I see kind of the trends of, you had downtowns were a big thing back in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then the invention of strip malls and, malls that we know today. And now what do you see with malls? They're dead. They're gone.
Dying left and right.
No one wants this mass-produced something that anybody can have. Clothing industry, fast fashion is what they call it. That's not like what people want anymore. People want unique. They want a one-of-a-kind piece.
That's a very millennial way. Like that. And I'm sure is that who most of your clients are, or are they even younger?
So it's trending younger, which is good for us. Which means that they'll be
there longer.
Yeah, yep. That we'll have clients even into the next generation. But back to the malls. They're going away, and you see. Not even with clothing, but people want unique. So you see downtown starting to revitalize. Millennials they want to be able to live, work, and shop in the same place. They don't want to drive an hour to Pittsburgh like a lot of our parents did, or like some of us do as well.
Or let's make the bi-weekly trip into the city to, do all of our big stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a big resurgency across the United States with a lot of downtowns. And I have a spot in my heart for Butler. I grew up here. And
sure.
I'm on a couple of different committees and organizations to help revitalize the city.
Do you see Butler trending upward?
I did strongly before this whole COVID thing. Mm-hmm. Like, we had momentum, lots of it. And like I said, when we opened up a business in 2015, there's 12 other businesses that same year. And then Butler Brew Works the next year, and then yoga the next year. And then, a few other businesses here and there. And then we opened up, end of last year. And then this whole COVID thing, you're not going to see not a lot of new businesses opening up anytime soon. But on the same note, there is a couple from Jersey opening up a bagel shop right downtown.
I saw that.
Maybe I'll hopefully eat my words here in the next year.
That's right. Do you? You obviously have the in with these things. Do you know the details behind that? Why they chose Butler?
I don't know why they chose Butler. I haven't talked to them personally yet. From what I heard is they're both from Jersey. They both lost their jobs because of COVID and said, let's start a bagel shop. So I don't know if they were living out here or just from Jersey, or if they have some kind of connection. So I'm not sure.
That's interesting. There's certainly a level of risk that's involved with starting a business from the ground up. You've taken that risk. You and your wife have taken that risk multiple times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is the most satisfying part about what you do?
Oh, man. So for me, and the reason why I think I start a lot of different projects and businesses is that I like to see the process. I'm involved. I'm obsessed with the process. Seeing something from nothing, literally, there's no followers on Facebook, Instagram, no one knowing who you are. Just taking a concept and seeing it come to reality, I think, is my biggest high I get from it. And what I have to work on is after that happens and you see success, like figuring out how to keep that like passion burning. Cause like I see myself like not going away, but just not having as much drive towards like that particular project.
Sure. Are you kind of looking for what's next at that point?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's like, all right, what can I do? What's the next thing that I can accomplish?
Sure.
So I don't know and with the branded thing, it's, I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Right. But I'm sure doing things like moving, from clothing into shoes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how, I don't know if I'll get to that point with that business because there is so much to learn. There's so much to grow and expand. I think it's easily scalable. I think that we could open up different locations. So I think that could definitely be like how I keep my fire burning on the inside of keeping, I guess, compassion through it. And
do you guys have plans for a second location?
We've had people reach out to us, but like so we opened in September and we had someone from Grove City Outlets reach out to us to open up a location there.
Really?
And
you guys are at 11. You're 10 months. You guys aren't.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were like, we thought about it for like a good couple of days, and we're like, we'd be wiped out.
Sure.
In a day. I mean, there's millions of people that go through the outlets every year. So that's a possibility. We're looking more towards like college towns, just because that's our clientele.
Sure.
But for the time being, no, we're just focusing on growing the brand for now in the one location. But in the near future, I wouldn't count it out, but not like within the next year or so.
Do you feel like you have so again, going from clothing, from what I can tell, like high end, you guys have high end like handbags and accessories. You started doing shoes. Is there a next step to what your actual product is for branded?
Or you see a lot of like vintage shops try to start their own brand.
Yeah.
And I'm not like the whole hype thing. Like we do hype and like Supreme and Bape and Comme des Garçons and like that kind of stuff. Like I like the designer aspect of it. I can appreciate designer. Like people were like, oh, an Hermes for $10,000. Like why? It's like, well, these artists that create these bags, like look at the craftsmanship that goes into it. I can appreciate that. With like the hype and the Supreme, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm just not big into it. So, but yeah, for us, like another step forward, I don't know, honestly. Like I don't know what else we could do.
Right.
Like I'm sure there's a lot. There's definitely a lot, but like just expanding our inventory base, like having like we probably have the largest curated vintage band t-shirt collection in Pennsylvania. maybe from here to New York.
And here we have it in Butler, Pennsylvania, folks.
Like we have over 300 something shirts from the 80s and 90s band tees. And we don't put, like, we could put them up and sell them to our foreign buyers, and
sure.
and probably less than a month we could get rid of them all. But it's the nostalgia, it's the aesthetics of just having it in the store.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So that's why it's kind of a collection of ours. Like we've definitely gravitated. Like I like not classic music. I like classic rock, like Grateful Dead, Led Zeppelin, all the stuff that my dad used to. Then that's what it goes back to, is nostalgia. Like I can close my eyes and remember driving in the car with my dad listening to these songs. So that, like, band t-shirts really gravitate towards me, and the Harley shirts are more of Brendan's thing, but I can also appreciate the art that's on the Harley shirts as well.
Sure.
And the money.
Is that who? So for some of your older clients, is that what you believe is their reason for purchase? Is like, okay, I went and saw this concert 30 years ago. I can't believe I'm now holding a T-shirt to a concert I was there. I need to buy this. I don't care what the price is. I need to buy this.
100%. And I think that's what plays into a lot of factors when people buy our stuff. Like, oh, there's that Steelers puffer jacket that I remember I had as a kid. Like, and it's just, pulling on heartstrings.
Yeah.
Not purposely. Like this bowl shirt. Like I remember, I was talking to someone about it the other day. I remember sitting in the living room as a kid watching ESPN before school with my dad, watching Michael Jordan come out of retirement.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
Just like goosebumps, like thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, it's just like remembering your childhood really is what it is.
That's right.
And it's obviously it's fashion. It's the fashion trend and
sure,
everything like that. But
yeah, it's so true, man. So whenever you walked in, I saw that you had the is that what 91, 92?
91, 92.
Yeah, I saw that, and even like so I'm sure you watched Last Dance.
No, I actually haven't yet. Yeah,
really,
and it's been great for the shoe market.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like literally,
specifically Jordans.
Huh?
Specifically Jordans or all the above?
Specifically like any Jordan 1s to retros, anything. Yeah. And I think it was a mix of COVID and it coming out during that time and people being at home and have nothing else to do, just buying shoes online. I mean, shoes that were going for $250 or up in the $400, $500, $600 range now. It's just supply and demand.
That's great for you guys.
Oh yeah.
What's are shoes your best seller right now?
Shoes, no, vintage tees. Last I looked, dollar wise, shoes.
Yeah,
but quantity wise, t-shirts and net profit t-shirts.
Sure,
shoes are like if we were. Our margins on them are like if we were Walmart buying product. Like we're making 15 to 30% on shoes. Where with t-shirts, if we find them at one of our suppliers' warehouses, we're making 30 to 200x. Mm-hmm. So,
which is great.
Yeah. So buying a shirt for 100 and selling it for $6. That's
right.
That's like
right.
the thrill of the hunt. Like that's what
that's right,
I think
man.
That's like going back to like. The fire inside that burns me to keep doing what I do. I think that's keeps always going to pull me back in. Yeah,
for sure.
Like in finding a new piece. Like we've been doing it for a while now. Like I've seen multiples of like decently rare shirts. Like at the second time around, it's not as great, but finding something that you've never, like that Cleveland Brown shirt that you just picked up,
right?
A shirt like that, like the all over print tees, like those are. Brendan's not a big fan of them. I love them.
Right. You mean the look or the value of them, or both?
The look. I could care. I had a rodeo shirt on yesterday that we picked up. Never been to a rodeo in my life. I don't like that kind of stuff. But just the graphic is just. I just think it's sweet.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good look.
So you've grown into a really healthy appreciation of vintage clothing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
it's
cool.
not like. I'm not afraid to say like, oh, I've always wanted to own vintage store, and no, like I'm a businessman. I saw money in it, and I've grown to appreciate the community.
That's great.
Same with shoes. I never understood why someone would spend $300, $400, $500 on a pair of shoes. Now there's a pair of Grateful Dead SB Dunks coming out on Friday that I'm trying to get at retail. They retail for $100, but they resell for anywhere from $1,800 to $2,800.
Yeah, and
I'd be willing to spend that money to get those pair of shoes at this point.
From what I understand, those will sell out in seconds, right?
Yeah, and like they call it backdooring, so people know, like the manager at a store. Those shoes are already gone at the store,
right? So he's already sold them in his head before the product's even there.
Yeah, he's got his buddies lined up that have already bought them.
Can you compete with that or no? Is that the only way to get a pair of shoes like that?
You can try and get them online, but I've heard the way. So they do it through different foot sites, Foot Locker, Finish Line, Champ, stuff like that. But I don't think they get any of the SB Dunks.
So why is the shoe game so cutthroat? Because it's I mean, especially with kids, like
there's
like, dude, the money some of these kids will drop on a pair of shoes is incredible.
Yeah,
but it's so obviously, is it rarity? Is it certain brands, certain styles? Like, why is the shoe game so intense? From someone who's not really into shoes, that it just seems like like you can get deep into it.
Oh, you can get, like, even from where we're at, we're not even touching the surface. Like,
really?
they call them, there's SneakerCon. There's a SneakerCon in Cleveland, August 8th. And it's just, I've never been to one. I'm hoping to go this time. Thousands and thousands of sneakerheads just setting up tables, selling shoes, buying shoes. Why it's so cutthroat, I couldn't even tell you. Like, some shoes, like those SB Dunks, the Grateful Dead's, a few thousand pair are going to be made. The Travis Scott's, the rapper, he does the Travis Scott Nike collab. His shoes go for stupid money, and all that is just name recognition. It's just branding. Same with Yeezys with Kanye West. People want to say, I have a pair of Yeezys. It's just fashion. It's just like, why can Louis Vuitton sell a bag for $2,000-$3,000 when you can go pick one up at, a Michael Kors or a Coach? It's still designer, just a lower end designer. But it's name recognition. Supreme,
Louis has the LV on it, and it can go for thousands more.
It's back to hype. Supreme. It's a Gildan shirt. It's literally a Gildan shirt that has a Supreme box logo on it and can go for $500 to $1,000. It's just the hype. It's just that people.
What is
it's
that?
Just, it's inflate. It's I don't know. It's inflated hype.
Because
with anything, I mean, but that's the world we live in now. Whatever an influencer says is cool. That's what's cool.
So I've seen Supreme stuff. It's huge with kids. It's huge with millennials. Okay, I love people, but like there's some stuff that you're right. People will buy a Gildan brand shirt with a word on it and pay hundreds. That to me is just stupid.
It isn't. It from a business standpoint, it is and it isn't, because if you're buying it So Supreme was a skateboarding company back in the day. And if you're doing it because you like to collect Supreme stuff and you're buying it instead of precious metals or a stock, and you think that the value is going to go up, then it's smart to buy it. But if you're just buying it to buy into the hype of it, I also don't agree.
Okay.
I would never spend $200 on a t-shirt.
But hold on, that helps me better understand it, because I'm sure there's people that look at me and see what I might spend on a video game and think I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So like that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
it's all in the eye of the beholder.
Okay, so that you're right. That makes sense. That's amazing. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, there's money to be made in literally anything.
Sure. Do you see influence? So like, whether it's Instagram influencers, YouTube influencers, have trends that you then see in selling products. So like depending on what they're wearing, you might be able to sell certain things based on that.
I don't niche it down that far. I just like vintage.
Right.
Fashion is the trend right now.
Right.
And I don't see it going away either. With millennials and Gen X, if that's the one underneath us.
Z. Yeah.
Gen
Z.
X is above us.
Gen X above us. Those are like the 40-year-old people with all
people.
Those. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
Gen Z
millennials, they want to be their own person. They want to be individuals. They don't want to go to Aeropostale, American Eagle, Hollister, and buy the stuff we wore as kids.
Which dude, like that's all we wore as kids.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you didn't wear those two or three brands,
and I didn't wear it,
who the heck were you?
Yeah.
You know? Like, oh man.
You wore the same hoodie all year because that's all your parents could afford. Yeah.
Dude, my sister's first job was at American Eagle. That was great for me because we got like the discounts or whatever, and like again, my parents did fine, but it's not like they were like we're gonna get American Eagle everything. Yeah. But getting things half off was helpful in that sense. But oh man, that's so interesting. So yeah, kids don't want that. They want the one of a kinds.
Yeah, they want the one of a kinds. They want to be able to put together their own outfit. And I don't know if it's because there's more appreciation for fashion nowadays or more thought process of, individualism. But yeah, I don't see our industry going away anytime soon. I could see hype going away sooner than fashion. Mm-hmm. Even big name in the industry, Virgil, he creates he's a fashion designer. He does the Off-White collab with Nike. If you ever heard of it,
I think I have not.
They're another like shoes. Like we just sold a pair for like $750.
Oh my god,
used. Yeah. He said that he could see like that going away, like hype, like no one wanting it anymore.
Right. Is that because people might just wake up and start to think and be like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah. Like, what am I doing?
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
But vintage stuff, it was proven when it was out. Mm-hmm. And because it was proven once, it doesn't have to prove itself again. So it's still going to be there. It's still going to be desired.
Yeah, I and it's with the Supreme. I could see that going like I was saying, people collect it. Like if they're a collector, I could see that stuff being worth nothing in 20 years. It's just the hype burnout.
Yeah.
With vintage band T-shirts, my '80s Guns N' Roses shirt is going to be worth more in 20 years than it is right now. I can guarantee that.
Man, that's wild. I don't even know if you would want to say this. What's the most rare, or I don't know if rarity and what's most expensive match, but what's the highest end product that you have in your store or that you're trying to sell?
In the store right now, it's a Supreme piece. It's the world flag. It's from like 2014. It's a jacket and it's $850.
Okay.
But it just has like the world flag. Like we have the skateboard to match it. The skateboard's like $550 or so. We got that in a trade when we first started doing shoes. And then the jacket we just got a little bit ago. And yeah, I think we have it up for $850. I think that's the most expensive piece. We have it's from the 70s. It's the most expensive Harley shirt I think we've ever had. I think we value that. We would probably never sell it because we're, like I said, we're curators and collectors of vintage Harley and band tees. If someone came and offered us, $800, $1,000 for it, though, we'd sell it. But it's a 1970s, like early AMF Harley shirt. It's got like orange sleeves. We have it hanging up on the wall. So we value that around $800 to $1,000.
Man, that's amazing.
And then we have plenty of shirts that are band tees that are from like the $250 to $600 range.
Yeah. Wow. That's just incredible, man.
Well, a lot of those we've paid up on. Like we didn't find those like at the thrift store.
Sure.
Like
you weren't finding those for a quarter.
No, we weren't finding those for a quarter. We're going to collectors' houses and buying them out.
Yeah.
Or going to someone that already found them and knows the value. Like we drove out to Harrisburg before this whole COVID thing, probably like winter time frame. Drove out to Harrisburg. We found some shirts online. guy posted them on Facebook Marketplace, drove out there. It was like 20 vintage band tees, paid upwards of $1,500 or so for all of them.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're like, all right, since the deal's already done and everything, what'd you pay for these? He's like, I bought these at a yard sale about 2 weeks ago. Found them in a box under a table. Same story as Brendan's. Asked Guy what he wanted for me. He's like, just give me $15 for the box. So, and I think he already sold like half of them off and kept a few for himself. So
man, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's a
there's
good day.
Yeah, there's a really good days. We had that one time with the Harley tees. I've had that a few times with like yard sales, flea markets and stuff. Walk into a guy's house because I just asked, you got any Harley tees? He's like, oh yeah, do I? Walk in, he pulls out 2 full drawers full. I was like, all right, what do you want for it, dude? He's like, $25 seems fair. I only had 2 20s on me. I was like, it's worth more than $40 to me.
Yeah, right.
I saw there was one. I just picked up the first shirt. It was an old Pittsburgh Harley Spirit shirt, and it was. I think we sold it for like $100, and I knew I'd get at least $100 for it. So I was like, here's $40.
Right,
man.
here's
like,
$40. We'll take them all.
Yeah,
and he's feeling great.
Yeah,
he felt good.
He felt good about it. His wife felt good. He got rid of 2 drawers full of shirts he never wore. They were from when he wore them back in the 80s. He doesn't fit them anymore.
That's right.
So
and I'm sure because again, people might hear that and say, well, what the heck if you knew the cost or whatever. But here's the way that I've always looked at that. I do the same thing with video games, right?
Yeah.
So to this gentleman, he had a pile of cloth that was worthless to him that he wore 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You have an appreciation for what that means now, and you understand the value of it and want to purchase it, not for quarters, but you spent $40 on drawers of that. For him, he's getting rid of cotton and cloth.
Yeah.
For you are obtaining appreciation for something that you love, and you are able to then resell that. Like, that's the beauty of owning a business and being able to, like you're doing it, build it from the ground up. I think that's awesome. And again, people that think that that's not awesome, like,
yeah, people think it's, resellers in general, some people think they're scumbags or scumbags. No, not if you're selling something for $1 at a yard sale, right, and it's worth $50. That's your fault. You didn't look the stuff up or take the time to put it online and sell it yourself.
That's right.
There's a lot of work that goes into being a reseller.
There's no doubt. And I feel like you keep the product that you sell alive, right?
Yeah.
Like the product that you sell, most of it was sitting in someone's basement. They hadn't looked at it since the year 1998.
Right. Yeah.
So like it was doing the world no good. Not that, a band tee can change the world, but like you're bringing these things back to life, and then people are able to wear them and they want to do it and they're willing to pay money to do that. So again, some people might disagree. I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, either do I. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. We travel all across the states to find this stuff. We go to warehouses. So like,
you guys camp out overnight.
Yeah, we camp out literally the night before the wedding renewal all night. So,
but this is also your livelihood.
This isn't a hobby. At the end of the day, I have to pay my bills. I have to make money. I don't do this for free.
Sure.
Yeah. So like at the end of the day, sure. You have to put some food on the table.
That's right. And I mean, you're not necessarily creating the market for it. The market's already there.
Yeah.
Right. You're just getting the product into the consumer's hand that wants it.
Exactly.
Like again, people have set the price before you've sold a Harley tee.
Yeah.
Many have been sold in the past, before you guys were in business. That just set the price to what it is.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be wise as a business owner to sell that at a considerably cheaper rate. Because like you said, this is your livelihood. This is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
There's many people in their jobs where they're going to do what it takes to get their salary. Because,
exactly.
Because that's what they feel like they're deserving the work put into it. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got 2 more questions about your business, and then we can wrap up here. Your business, Brandon Butler, has acquired on, I believe, multiple occasions, thousands of pairs of jeans.
Yeah, so you were just talking about us spending the night overnight somewhere. That's where we got. This was beginning of the month of July. So 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Help me understand. Help me understand that business transaction. Why you want it to happen? How you find things like that, and then what you do with that product. Because this intrigues me like crazy.
All right, so where do you want me to start?
So,
like 6 questions there.
Why do you want thousands of jeans?
Why do I want thousands of jeans?
Yes. Where do you find them, and then what do you do with them?
Okay, so finding thousands of jeans is in one spot, in one hit, is not very common, and we've done it twice. So were you referring to the first one when we
Both.
First?
Which I believe your first one was bigger, right? So
our first one.
If it wasn't, but
was supposed to be bigger and wasn't. It was a very big letdown. We ended up getting out, maybe making a couple bucks.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, just you don't have to talk price unless you want to, but tell the people how many pairs of jeans you got on both occasions.
So the first time we got it was significantly less than just this last time. It was, I think, 15. We'll say 1,500 pairs of jeans. I think it might have been actually less than that. It was all dead stock, which means brand new with the tags. New old stock. People call it different things. We were hoping Levi's because Levi's sell the best, but it was Lee, Wrangler, Jordache, brands from like the 80s. And not knowing till after the fact, it was mostly all kid sizes. I mean, going into a person's house in Maryland in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, he had just a church. He bought a church and just had his collections there. So to try to look through 1,500 pairs of jeans is not possible. We were getting them for $2, $3, $4. Probably not even. We get like $2 a piece at the most, and we got some new old stock Red Wings thrown in there as well. And I think we paid 10. We paid $10,000, and we went back and got more. So it was like all in all like $12,500 for like the $15,000 in the boot, or the $1,500 in the boots. We got them back to the shop. We were opening in a week. We were just about to open up the shop.
I remember coming down, and there were jeans
it was just a mess
everywhere.
There was no way for us to organize it, and it took months to even like get time to do it. So we got into that, and we got into the side. We had like a couple buyers. We were just going to wholesale it out. We were going to make our money. They were going to make their money. And we have a good friend from Pittsburgh that's in the vintage community, and he came down. He's like, "This ain't it, guys." He said, "It's not the right stuff." He's like, the fits aren't right. The sizes are too small. Like women back then were they wore jeans different. They were a lot thinner. I don't know if thinner is the right word. They just, yeah,
for real. They were just smaller.
They were just smaller girls. So it was so hard getting rid of these jeans. We ended up selling them. We ended up selling that lot of jeans for a loss.
Oh, man.
But made up for it on the boots.
Okay.
And now fast forward to just beginning of this month, we went to an estate sale. And had an agreement that, hey, if we buy all the jeans, can we get a bulk deal? Can we buy all of them? Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, we usually don't do that. If you're the first person in line and state that you want to buy all the jeans, we can do that. And they gave us a price. And I won't say the price because the deals and everything's still going on. We still have all the jeans and everything. So we got there. It was just in Beaver Falls, so it wasn't like a far drive like the Maryland trip. And we get there. Brendan's like, all right, I'm heading out. I feel like someone's going to get here before us. And we're going to lose out on all these jeans. So he gets there at midnight the night before. Doors don't open until 8. And I was getting stuff done for the wedding because it was the next day. And I was like, all right, I can't I can't just let him go sit out there by himself. So I head out there at like 1:30, 2 o'clock. I get there.
You were renewing your vows the next day.
And I was renewing my vows the next day. And I was like, I was sitting there and it was like 4 o'clock. He's like, all right, 4 more hours to go. And I was like, this was such a bad idea. Why did Dorothy's going to kill me? I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. But literally as soon as I show up, someone else shows up.
At 4 a.m.
Yeah. No, at 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m. For the jeans?
For the jeans. But weird thing is they were there actually for VHS tapes that the estate company was giving away for free.
Oh, man.
Like I said, there's money in everything.
Uh-huh.
He's sold VHS tapes for $6,000. I think was the most expensive one he said he sold for.
Yeah, that's a market I've heard of, never dove into.
I just no interest in. That's like records.
Right.
We've bought I think a 15 by 20 storage unit full of records. Literally, our box truck, our wheel wells were rubbing in the back. That's how much vinyl was in there. We didn't piece it out. We sold it all to one collector. And he probably made bank because he had the knowledge of it.
He knows what he's doing, yeah.
But we didn't pay much on it, so we made money. So we get there. We're the first ones in line, luckily. We're like, yeah, we still want to buy them all. They're like, okay. Announce it to everyone. Hey, don't touch the denim. It's these guys. They're buying it all at a bulk price. We get there, and I'm just dead tired already. And they start bringing it out for us before. Like they're like, all right, we'll get some of this stuff out of the way before everyone come in. And I was like, okay, that should be like I thought. Because they said conservatively there was 1,000 pair.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime someone says conservative, anyone gives you a guesstimate, you always want to take like a third of that off. So I was thinking,
people always think they have more than what they do.
Yes. No matter what, a good rule of thumb is take at least a third, if not half of. So we're thinking 500, 750 pair. Mm-hmm. We both drive our cars out there. We should have been able to fit it, no problem. They start bringing jeans out, and I'm like, okay, this is probably. They're like, all right, everyone go in, and we put it in the car, and I'm like, okay, like this ain't bad. We can like this is cool. Like there was a lot of like Janko jeans from the '90s, the big baggy jeans. Some of them we sold a pair already for like $200, $300. Those all go on eBay. We don't put any of that stuff in the store.
Okay.
And a lot of it was Janko. So I was like, all right, sweet. I know this stuff. We'll make a good chunk of money. And there was a basement. And we go down the basement, and there's just no joke, probably bigger than this room, just racks, 10 foot tall of jeans. Just folded nicely. This guy, I don't know. This guy was a collector.
I was going to ask, do you know the story of how this? So someone passed away.
Yeah, the guy passed away. It was in an old dojo.
Okay.
That he shut down and just used for storage.
Okay.
I mean, like beautiful, like Asian art just everywhere that they were pretty much giving away. And in the basement was just racks and racks and racks of denim folded up. He had it all labeled and tagged, which would have been helpful, but it was sitting in a basement for so long. We have to launder. We still haven't laundered. We haven't even put a dent in it yet.
Right.
We took it and So I was like, dude, there's no way this is fitting in our cars. I can't stay here and help you load all this. I have a wedding in literally 4 hours. Brendan's like, just go. I'll get them to help, the people working there to help me get it. So he went and rented a U-Haul, sent me a picture at about, 2 o'clock or so. And the whole U-Haul was just packed full. We were going in there thinking we were getting 1,000 pair. And this was the beginning of July. We've had a few other things going on, but we have a warehouse that we have it all stored at. We haven't counted. Realistically, there's over 4,000 pair of denim. And it's the good denim. Like when we were going to Maryland, we were thinking we were getting Levi's. And we got like maybe 5 or 10 pair. It's the opposite this time. We probably have 90% of it is Levi's.
Oh my.
And it's all like made in the most, probably 90% of our Levi's is all USA made. All made in the USA. A lot of it's orange tab, so that dates it to the 80s.
I was going to ask, is it 90s, 80s, and earlier? Or
not any earlier. If you're going earlier than the 80s, if you're going back 70s, those jeans are worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
like I wish.
Yeah, man.
It was back further, but
so a score like that could make your That could make your year.
That could, if we can figure out how to market it right, which we changed the store around just because of the denim. You were just in there today,
That's right. Yeah. I saw it was different.
We just made a whole denim display, and we're working on getting the rest laundered and sized. We got to get it modeled. If we put it on girls, because it's mostly girls that are going to be buying it. Few men's sizes, but mainly girls like the fit of the vintage Levi's. If we can market it well, conservatively, we should make 6 figures off the deal.
Wow.
So
good for you guys, man.
And that, I guess that's adding into, like you were asking earlier, what's something else we can get into, like denim. I mean, if it does well in the store and we can gain a following of people that are interested in vintage denim, I'll seek that out more, just like I do shoes and t-shirts.
I was watching an episode of American Pickers with my dad recently. They were somewhere in Oregon, near mines, and so they walked into some dude's building on his property, and he just had old denim hanging there from the 30s or 40s, or like maybe like 50s. It was, dude, I'm talking like some of it was missing like a third of it because it had been worn so much and just had and they were going for like $300 a piece for.
Yeah, they robbed that dude. They literally.
But dude, like, so they were paying three bills a piece.
Yeah.
For denim, for original Levi's, again from like around the World War II era, that it was missing like a third of it because it was just worn so much.
Yeah.
And they were like estimating that they could sell these things. So if they were mint condition, they might go for like, between $2,000 and $3,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. But like in that, like they were going to be able to double their money or more. And and these things were just ragged. But it didn't matter. It was old jeans from
even
the 40s.
They call it workwear. So like, stuff from like the 30s and 40s, like even if it was homemade.
Yeah.
But the Levi's, so if you can find Levi's pre-fire, San Francisco fire, so 1914, something, you find jeans from that era, you're good. You're good. You can go retire on an island. That's
amazing.
There's a documentary on Netflix called Blue Gold.
Okay.
Like there's good money. There's really good money in old band tees and Harley tees and vintage clothing in general, but there's stupid money in like 30s, 40s workwear. Old denim is ridiculous. There's Japanese buyers that will spend tens of thousands of dollars on a pair of jeans.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I was saying when they bought it for $300, they literally stole it from the guy.
So it was funny. They like afterwards, or maybe it was during the deal, they stepped away, called their denim guy, who has a denim shop somewhere. I'm assuming it was L.A.
Yeah, L.A. or New York.
This this dude knew exactly, so they were describing it. They sent pictures. He knew exactly what it was, the years, what to look for. Like it was serious business. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was the unreal. Denim game. It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
There's this guy Scott. He owns Three Rivers Vintage down in Pittsburgh, and he doesn't deal. He's a vintage seller. He doesn't deal with anything prior 1970s, like from the 80s on. Which is good for us because he's no comp. That's what we sell is 80s and on.
Sure.
He sells from 1870, so colonial, to 1970. There's so many different niches in vintage clothing. It's unbelievable. Like that we have no idea about. Vintage women's clothing from the 70s. We know nothing about it, but we made $10,000 off a $100 storage unit once.
Oh my goodness, that's
just wholesaling it out.
Yeah,
just literally just getting people like Scott and other vintage shops that's what they specialize in, and just giving it to them for pennies on the dollar for nothing. But we spent $100 on a storage unit full of it. Come take stuff we don't know about, and that's actually what helped us get the shop open.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool. But even so, this was going to be my last question here. You guys have talked about how you talk about niches or just other things that people need your product for. you have been approached by shows. Correct me if I'm wrong. To basically provide, or what was it, Netflix?
Well, there's someone. I can't even remember her name right now. She works for Netflix. Mm-hmm. She works with the different shows that have. I don't think just in Pittsburgh, but like on the East Coast.
Sure.
Something with the outfits, the designers. She's came in and bought a few pieces for the shows.
Right. So if a show is set during a certain time period, and you obviously have that vintage clothing, like we've made Netflix on that.
We've made a couple good connections.
That's cool
with different TVs, producers and different shows and everything.
That's so cool.
You might have been thinking the lights in our shop are from the show Mindhunter.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You want to know what's crazy? That church pew is as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Did you go down to the sale? What I see there?
No, I found that at a place called The Perfect Piece in Zillionople.
Okay, so they had a movie prop sale in Cranberry for the show. Yeah, because it's shot somewhere around here.
Yeah. I believe it was shot in Butler somewhere.
A couple scenes,
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, dude,
anything else you want to talk about?
I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We're like an hour. We're over an hour in.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like we've just scratched the surface. You're gonna have to come on again
for sure.
We have so many more things to talk about.
Business venture, whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's right. Whatever
grand opening of a second shop. Or
that's
something.
right. What will Lance open next? That'll be it. Well, hey, plug your stuff real quick. Where can people find you? And then we'll close the show out.
Brandon Butler, simple, easy. Branded in Butler, Instagram, Facebook. That's how it's spelled.
Awesome. Lance, thanks for being here, man.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
All right.